Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on, for one, Xbox having it where now you can play original Xbox games on PC. Like, you can download it. It ain't no, like, cloud play. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do, is bring back backwards compatible, like, that whole thing. And yeah, they announced it. They were, or no, it wasn't even an announcement. They just randomly did it today. You had it where it was like, I think it was like 4 games that they announced. One coming out today. I don't know when the other one, or so it was like partially an announcement. But then yeah, then they did release it, some game I never heard of. But my thing is this though, right? If they have it set up where we can, because they already have the technology, so all they just really need to do is just have it where all games is backwards compatible. Just have it where the file, or however it goes, like, you can play it if you have an Xbox Series X. But this is where gaming should be going, where there's more ways to play a game. So, because the thing is this, right? I don't mind the whole idea of going to a website and downloading a video game, but that's the thing though. I'm a little bit untrustworthy of random websites. The only websites I go to is the ones where it's like you'll see them getting talked about on the news, like social media stuff, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, things like that, where I ain't got really, like, where there's a little bit more of a security system on there. On these websites where they have these video games, they don't really be having no strong security system. So that's why I'm like, I'm kind of iffy about downloading games from there, because yeah, I don't know what that's going to do to my gaming PC, because I'm like, I ain't spent a lot of money on it, on the parts, and I'm not trying to have it where I have to go back out and get me another gaming PC because a virus done broke my whole computer. So that's why I'm like, I'm iffy about that. Like the one time where I did do it, I did find a website, and I was trying to play I think it was like Operation Flashpoint Red River. I tried playing that game, and the game, it just randomly crashed. So I wasn't even able to play the game for the amount of time I wanted to. Like, I was streaming it and all, and it was like, yeah, the game just randomly shut down. So I was like, all right, forget it. If I do play this game, I do have it on PlayStation 3, and I'll just play it on there. But my thing is this though, right? My PlayStation 3 is getting old. I didn't had this thing since 2007. I believe that was yeah, I got it that year for my birthday. And it's still kicking it. It's still alive and kicking it and all, but how long is this PlayStation 3 gonna last? How long is it gonna be before Sony? Because they already then upset a bunch of people with the, oh, we're switching to digital. Who knows? Tomorrow they might be all like, oh, we're shutting down the servers on the PlayStation 3s. You won't be able to play any of the games. You won't be able to, unless you jailbreak it, and it ain't no telling how. But the thing is this, though, the tech itself, it's still getting older. So yeah, I can jailbreak it, but then eventually it's gonna get to a point where I'm like, I'm not even gonna be able to play it no more. So that's why I was like, I've been saying this for the longest. What PlayStation needs to be focused on is having the most amount of games possible to get played on it. And I'm like, fam, if they would have had it set up just like how the PlayStation 3 was, like, in my opinion, even though PlayStation 2, I would say that was the best era of gaming, the PlayStation 3 was probably the best console of all time. I mean, to have it where, especially that first one that they came out with, I think they call it the fat model, but to have it where this console can play all PlayStation 1 games, all PlayStation 2 games, and then including any PlayStation 3 games that come out, you cannot tell me that that's not the best console of all time. Like, I will not listen to you, because the thing is this. Now, I will say that Xbox, it was like, I guess, like, the things I could say about them is that a lot of people had owned them. Like, that's where you made memories and stuff. And then PlayStation, on the other hand, it was like, hey, we have, like, in my opinion, the best time for gaming was when PlayStation, before they introduced PlayStation Plus, and you can play whatever games online for free, play whatever video games you own, disc, digital, don't matter. You were going to have the most amount of fun if you owned the PlayStation 3 and during its prime. And then when they came out with the 4, it was like, okay, why did you guys go backwards? Like, why is it that you think along the lines, oh, people don't want to play old games no more, yet a bunch of different people, especially if you're a fan of gaming, a bunch of different people still own their old video games. And then if you have people like me where it's like you want to own them old video games again, then yeah, you'll find a retro game store where they still sell physical copies. Because that's the thing where it's like, if it's a video game like Project Gotham Racing, I never had a chance of playing any of the Project Gotham Racing games. Now I know with that game it will be a little bit tricky because it's one of those like there's like licensed products in the game, and I think after some point the license for it runs out, and you won't be able to buy those games no more. At least like in like stores, like digital stores and like Best Buy and stuff like that. So my thing is this, right? If I have a brand new Xbox, or a brand, well, because it was an Xbox exclusive game. So if I have a brand new Xbox in my Xbox 360, ain't no telling, because it's the second to last Xbox 360 that they released, but I don't know when exactly the one that I have currently now, when it came out or when it was released. I don't know if it was some years after, but the model that I have is the second to last one that they came out with. So that was back in 2010, you know. So my thing is this, right? We're talking about a console that's 16 years old, and then my PlayStation 3 that is almost 20 years old. Next year it will mark 20 years for since I got my PlayStation 3. That's crazy. You know, and you sit down, you think about that, it's like, okay, how long is these consoles gonna last? Like, I don't know how much that would be in like people years, like its age and stuff, but I would imagine that it's up there, you know. So that's why I'm like, man, you know, having it set up where these consoles, like, they are gonna give out at some point in time, and then there's all these games that I have where it's like, okay, I have new consoles that can play these games. PlayStation, it's like, you guys, like, Xbox is trying to do it, they're trying to attempt it, but PlayStation on the other hand. So for those that don't own a PlayStation, you're all like, well, they have to have some games like that you can play backwards compatible, right? Like if Xbox did it, PlayStation should do it. They try to copy any and everybody else. I mean, they got the one game like Mario. What's that game called again? Because I have that game. It's like, is it Playbot? No, it's not Playbot. What's that game where it's like the Mario-like game? Hold on for a second. I gotta look it up. The Mario-like game on PlayStation. I cannot think of that game. Astrobot. Okay, so yeah, I was like, I knew it was something, but I just can't remember the actual name of it and stuff. But anyways, but it's like, you got that. Then you have it where, well, Gran Turismo was coming out long before Forza Motorsport. So, but I would say that, you know, that's probably why they were, you know, coming out with the Gran Turismos, because I mean, that's a gaming series where it's like, okay, you guys could have stopped after a few and then just moved on to something else. But it's like, no, you guys kept competing because you had a competition. Now, when it comes down to the tech itself, the PlayStation, obviously that they have to have some backwards compatible situation going on, right? The only way for you to be able to play a PlayStation 1, 2, or 3 game is if you subscribe to their service and you have to stream it. So let's just say, for an example, you have both an Xbox and a PlayStation. And I'm trying to think of a game that they have backwards compatible. Well, okay, so let's just say Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, right? And let's just say that they didn't remaster it, Rockstar Games. They was like, the only way you'll be able to play this game is if you have a physical copy of it, right? So Xbox has it set, like, let's just say they have it set up because they do have it where you can stream games, but also at the same time, if you do want to download the game, if you have either the Xbox console itself or a gaming PC, you'll be able to do that. So, and then on top of that, if you do have a physical copy of the game, then yeah, you'll definitely be able to play. Because there's actually the one game, Fuel, where they don't sell that game digitally, but they do have it set up where I can play a physical copy of it and stuff. It will play if I do have a physical copy. But anyways, getting back to the, you know, to explaining PlayStation and stuff, right? PlayStation and Xbox. So, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, let's say you have the Xbox version of it, and then you have the PlayStation 2 version of it, you know, on both sides. You'll be able to play it. If Xbox has it set up where they have it on the backwards compatible list, you'll be able to play it. PlayStation, on the other hand, you'll have to, and that's the thing with Xbox, you don't have to subscribe to their service. If you have the game, you can play it. PlayStation, on the other hand, you have to subscribe to their high tier service. So I think they got PlayStation Plus Essential, PlayStation Plus Extra, and PlayStation Plus Premium. And you have to subscribe to PlayStation Plus Premium in order to stream, not download and play it. And so let's just say, for an example, you live or it's like some bad weather going on in your area. It knocks out your internet, but your power is still on. So the internet, yeah, so if you're playing it on Xbox, it's like, well, this is a single player game, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm still playing. You know, it might just be a thing where it's like, oh, disconnected from Xbox Live. I don't mind that. I'm just here, you know, for the nostalgic reasons, right? PlayStation, let's say if you are playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the PlayStation Plus, their subscription service, and you're streaming it, your Wi-Fi goes out. Let's say, I'm trying to think of a mission in there. Let's say you're like, no, that one mission where you gotta go through the dude's mansion and I think steal his rap music or something like that, right? So let's say you're like seconds away from exiting out that door and completing the mission. Wi-Fi goes out. Got to start the mission all over again. Meanwhile, the person playing on Xbox, they're like, oh, okay, well, as long as the power didn't go out, I'm good. I'm chilling. PlayStation, why do you have it set up that way? Like, that's one of those things where it's like, because I guess with me, if I'm trying to sell a console, let's say if I work for PlayStation, and I've said this before, if I work for PlayStation and they're all like, hey, we have to sell 1 million PlayStation 5s this year. Okay. I'm like, you guys give me creative control on what, so, or just full, not even creative, full control. Give me full control over PlayStation and the ideas and all the other different things. Give me full control of it. I guarantee and I promise you, forget selling 1 million. We gonna sell 10 million. So what I would do if they was all like, hey, you know, you got to make some public service announcement and let people know like what the future for PlayStation is going to be like. All right, cool. So I'll start up that live stream, do a little countdown, like wait until everybody comes in because they're going to be like, okay, you know, TMossBoss said that there's going to be a big announcement for PlayStation. You know, they hired him on. So they are like, let's see what he's going to say. So as soon as that, that public service announcement thing, as soon as that live stream starts up, people gonna probably get to asking. They were like, what new things we gonna add to PlayStation? I'm like, no, it's not new things we gonna add. It's old things that we're gonna add. Because I'm like, remember in the PlayStation 3 when you were able to play all PlayStation games that ever came out? That's going to be the same situation with the PlayStation 5. Now I got people's attention. Now people are going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. So like PlayStation 1, 2, 3, all of them. If you got a PlayStation 1, 2, or 3 game, we're coming out with an update where we have it where now you can play whatever, because most things is digital though, right? Like, I guess like the backwards compatible and all that stuff, all it just needs is the file. So I'm like, okay, we're coming out with this emulator system where, yeah, you just start that up, put the game in, get the playing, and it automatically updates it to where it looks more newer and it ain't all old looking, the frame rate ain't all low and stuff. Play it off of your and then it's gonna optimize the PlayStation 5 controller to whatever it is. So I'm like, whether you playing a 1, 2, or 3 game, don't matter. I'm like, you'll be able to play it, and then it's like, and it ain't at no extra cost. I'm like, just download the app and you get the playing. So I'm like, but I guess if they do want it to be a part, I'm like, all right, so you guys subscribe to PlayStation Plus in order to do that, you know, to be able to play all these old games and stuff. My thing is this, where it's like, okay, you now have that. I don't think people would be mad about that. I don't think people would be upset where it's like, okay, I'm able to play whatever game, but I at the same time, if I don't need to do that, then yeah, I'm like, you don't need to subscribe to no service. If you have a PlayStation, that's because I'm like, that's the goal. You ain't say nothing about having people subscribing to the service. You just say you need people to sell or the PlayStation 5 to sell. So I'm like, that's how you guys sell it. And I'm like, and then on top of that, I'm like, and then if you guys want to subscribe to PlayStation Plus, all the 12-month subscriptions were for essential, extra, or premium, it would be half off. So instead of paying $100, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, I guess to compete with Nintendo, because Nintendo is the cheapest when it comes to subscription services and stuff. But I'm like, and that's the thing too, where it's like, when you look at, that's like the main thing that I feel like a lot of people, they know that they want. And I'm like, you look at Nintendo, they got almost all of their like the classics from the original Nintendo 64. What else? They just recently added GameCube. What else? And I think they got like don't they got like Sega Genesis? They got like all of them. They got like almost, yeah, I think all of the Nintendo consoles and a gang of games. And then same with Xbox. And then it's like they just announced it today how they're gonna be adding Xbox OG Xbox games to PC. So it's like PlayStation, what's your guys' excuse? I mean, there's games that you guys have like that you created where it could be Marathon, Gran Turismo. I'm trying to think of some other PlayStation exclusive games where it's like, and then it took you guys, I think, what was it? It was like maybe this year when I seen that they added Spider-Man 2 to their subscription service, and I'm like, those should have been day one games. If you own those games, those should have been day one, and at least then people would be subscribing to PlayStation Plus. But to have it set up where it's like you subscribe to it and it ain't even a reason to subscribe, that's why I unsubscribed. And I'm like, and I'm trying to think I can't remember the last time I unsubscribed from X. I think maybe if I did, it was to save up some money. But other than that, I'm all like, nah, man, Xbox Game Pass, like that's the one subscription service I'll make sure out of all of the other subscription services I have, from Spotify to, I'm trying to think what else, Netflix. I'm trying to think of some. I'll make sure I have Xbox Game Pass. Because I'm like, at least with them, I'm like, I'm getting my money's worth and stuff. Versus with PlayStation Plus, I'm like, man, you know, it just to me doesn't make any sense where it's like, you guys have been like this long running company where it's like the PlayStation is the go-to console to buy. I feel like people are only getting it for the name. You ain't getting it because of the amount of fun that you can have. You're getting it because I feel like the only reason why a person get a PlayStation 5 is because of the name or because their friends have a PlayStation 5 and they don't have an Xbox. But I feel like if they were to, whenever the next generation of consoles come out, I do feel like there's going to probably be a lot of people going out unless X or a PlayStation can somehow, some way convince people to get the PlayStation 6. I think a lot of people are going to be getting the Xbox whenever that one is. I think I can't remember the name that they're planning on calling it, but yeah, when that comes out, I think a lot of people are going to be buying it. So, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.